we are live.
Awesome. First podcast ever being recorded.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be a fun one. My name's Drew Gillen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Adesic.
I'm Zach Robert. I'm the co-founder and CTO. We're here doing a podcast. We're
Yes, this is our
podcasting.
first podcast, highly requested by no one actually, but
The
here we
marketing
are,
team.
right? The marketing team has requested we put together a podcast to talk about what we do and what we're building, answer questions that customers have. This first one's going to be rough, just like everything else that we do, but it will get better over time.
Let's start out with what we're seeing today, what we're doing right now. Adesic is moving millions of dollars for our clients doing crypto transactions, on and off ramping, US dollars to crypto, crypto to US dollars. We see a fair amount of both in both directions. We support a lot of stablecoin transactions. I think that's 80% of our volume. We did some ETH today as well. We're seeing a lot of demand, a lot of growth, a lot of inbound leads, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. No, I mean, what we do at the end of the day is we make it easy to move money. Specifically, today, we make it easy to move money from your bank account to your cryptocurrency wallet. So, for example, if you're sending money abroad or something like this, it's much faster, cheaper, and easier to use a stablecoin than sending an international wire. I don't know, what are some other big use cases that we've seen? We have like contractors, like people that get paid in crypto or like stable coins in specific. And we should probably take a minute to address like what even a stable coin is. Some people may not know what a stable
Yeah,
coin
what is a
is.
stable coin?
A stable coin, well, the most popular stable coins today are USDT and USDC. USDC is issued by Circle, USDT is issued by Tether, and these are cryptocurrencies on the blockchain issued one-to-one, pegged one-to-one with the US dollar. So
At
for
least we
example, with
hope in the
Circle,
case of USDT, but
yeah,
Circle's
they have
balance sheet
reserves.
is very clear. Yeah, they do have reserves. Circle's balance sheet is very transparent. They show that they buy government debt with every dollar that
Treasury
goes in.
bonds.
Yep, treasury bonds, short-term treasury bonds, then earn a profit on their deposits and
This
keep
is
growing as a
true, yeah.
company.
What's interesting, I think, is like Tether is top 10 holders of US Treasury bonds in the world. Their
That's
market cap,
wild.
or the market cap for Tether is insane. It's in the billions of dollars. I think over $100 billion maybe at this time.
Let's pull it up.
So there's a lot of stablecoin transactions taking place. There's trillions of dollars in stablecoin volume. Just I believe last year in 2024, there was more transaction volume for stablecoin rails, like moving money on and off chain. When I say on and off chain, I mean the blockchain too, moving money from on and off the blockchain. More money was moved than the entire credit card and debit card system combined from Visa and MasterCard. So like we're talking like trillions of dollars, and this is just growing significantly. It's gonna the next big one is ACH, so it may surpass ACH in the next like 5 years or so.
I got CoinMarketCap up right here, and it says that the fully diluted value FTV of USDT is 187.92 billion, which is wild. But the 24-hour volume is 122 billion. So that matches exactly what you were talking about. There being a lot of volume with stablecoins.
That's crazy. Yeah, so back to what we do. Like what we do is we make it easy for people and businesses to access these stablecoins and get their money right into their self-custodial wallet. So like their MetaMask wallet or their Coinbase wallet or whatever crypto wallet they want, we can push the money right into their wallet. And then once it's in their wallet, they own it, they control it, they can do whatever they want with it. So, some use cases that we've seen have been like cross-border payments, like I mentioned, sending money from Africa to America or from like Europe to America, different things like this. Contractors getting paid in stablecoins. What other examples, Zach?
Treasury management.
Yes.
There may or may not be some way around some tariffs. Who knows? We don't know. We know nothing. But there's a lot of use cases here. Another question, a good question is, how do we actually do this? How do we make it easy for people to acquire or sell their crypto? I think that's a good question. And the way we do that is we've built out the necessary partnerships with stablecoin issuers like Paxos, Circle. We're working on others as well, such as RLUSD. We support Gemini USD. We have partnerships with the exchanges, liquidity providers. So we're able to kind of aggregate and get the best quote with really great rates for our customers.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a big money routing algorithm that we use internally to source liquidity and move money through these different entities for both the best, as fast as possible, and for the lowest rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the big things that we've heard our customers care about. Um, yeah, I don't know. What else do we do? I feel like there's a few additional things that we do that.
We do a lot of compliance. So we've talked about how we do this fast and quick, but we haven't touched on the compliance part. And that's actually where a large part of our operating expenses go to is compliance, making sure that people are who they say they are located where they say they're located, validating their bank accounts, their crypto wallets, their transactions, and assigning risk scores to these customers based on their may or may not have criminal records, or they may have been flagged on chain for various things. So we try to we actively only serve clients that are low risk in all these regards.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I mean a lot of the compliance stuff is done behind the scenes, uh, but for the end customer, it's we try to make it as seamless as possible.
As seamless as
Um,
possible. Yeah. Increased
avo-
compliance is usually results in a worse UX. There's like a big trade-off there, right? But we try to minimize the the impacts on the user experience as much as possible.
yes. Other things that we do too outside of all that compliance good stuff is we've launched recently an OTC desk. So what we found is a lot of businesses, um, even high net worth individuals as well, that need to move, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Transaction times need are they're like looking for a fast, reliable, and clean way to do this. So we've launched an OTC desk as well, to help have like this one-on-one white glove experience where you work either directly with myself or Zach or the rest of our team to kind of execute these transactions for customers that are, I don't know, they're moving larger amounts of money, but not consistently as well. Um, on the other side of that as well, we've been building out infrastructure to support larger enterprise clients, where these are larger institutions, enterprises moving consistent volume every month, month after month, week after week, day after day. So we've been building out the infrastructure to support larger clients like this too.
Yeah, we've been targeting recurring transactions that are of the same size or increasing month over month, because then our statistics become more predictable, and then from there we can go and continue to grow with what's the word I'm looking for? Analytics, insights on how we operate and what kind of volumes we're doing. It's also a great indication of like the amount of like operations work that there will be every month, and profit too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Should we dive into some of these questions? I mean,
We got the origin story still.
yeah, do you want to talk about how we met?
We'll start from the beginning,
We
and
founded the company. Yeah.
yeah, we'll take it way back. We'll take it way back. We'll go. My earliest memory of Drew
Oh God.
was on a little league team, and we were playing baseball together on, I think it was like a fall ball or something. But if you don't know what fall ball is, it's in New England. Baseball in the fall season can get pretty cold, but we were playing on a fall ball team, and I remember Drew and I used the same baseball bat. And
I
then
don't remember that.
yeah, that must
That's
have been
crazy.
about like sixth grade. I think we were like age 11 or 12 or something like that. Probably like 10 or 11.
Is that middle school?
Fifth grade or sixth grade, something like that.
Oh, elementary school? Middle
Maybe.
school?
That's my
Maybe
funnest, that's
middle
my
school.
earliest memory of you. Yeah. But if you
God.
ask us like when we met, like when we actually met, I'd say it was more around high school. Drew and I took our first computer science class together. I think that was like sophomore year, so like grade 10.
Mm-hmm.
Like 15. How old are you, grade 10? 15, 16, maybe
Was one
15?
2016 maybe?
2015?
2015,
I was born in
2016, sure.
2000, so that means we're 15. So somewhere around there,
The
14, 15,
sophomore
16.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took our first
15,
computer science
16.
class together, and it was kind of game over since there. So when we
Mr.
learned to code.
Disglorious.
Yeah,
What
Mr.
did
D.
we
Shout out
learn?
Mr. D.
Java?
No, that
Java,
was
right?
JavaScript.
No, we learned Java. I had a book on Java. I thought we did a little bit of Java. We did a lot of
Ja
no code stuff to get started initially.
Yeah, we did.
And
Remember
then
Khan Academy?
pseudocode. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was we did the JavaScript course on Khan Academy, and
Hmm.
there was like a course where we built a not a course but like a couple of classes where we built a computer, put all the computer
Yep,
parts
that's
together.
true.
Yeah, that was fun. Uh, yeah, and then Java, I don't know if you took AP Computer Science, but I took that senior year, and that's where we went into a deep dive on Java. Like the whole course is just learning Java, and then we took the AP exam, and it was like writing Java code by hand on the exam.
Disgusting.
It
Now
was
we
a lot of
have
fun.
now we have Grok and ChatGPT to write code for us.
Claude code.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we graduated. Let's see, we graduated 2018.
Hmm.
And after that, you went to Johnson Wales, and then I went to the Community College of Rhode Island. And then in 2020, during COVID, before COVID, we did an e-commerce and advertising agency.
You started out
We were
drop
like,
shipping.
yeah, we were doing drop shipping. We were buying products and then selling them through using Facebook and Google Ads. We were selling phone cases. We managed to make a e-commerce store go viral, selling. We called it the Privacy Pro case.
Privacy
We
Pro.
That was our first big viral moment. I guess, or viral ad is maybe the correct term to
How many
use, where we
millions it
sold.
was a few million views. Was it millions? Hundreds of
I'm not sure.
thousands? I don't know
It
either.
it it popped off though. It sold tens of thousands of dollars in phone cases, and yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was like a great feeling. Unfortunately, though, it was like the very next month or maybe 2 months, COVID hit. Our shipping times backed up to
Oh yeah.
like they went from like 7 days or whatever to maybe like 1 to 2 months, and all of our customers were pissed. That was a real learning experience, for sure. Um,
It's like
yeah, what did
selling
we do after that?
a crappy product, marketing it, and it's sold.
Yeah,
If you can sell phone cases, you can sell anything.
that's true. Yeah. So,
Maybe.
oh yeah. So I don't know with that big problem of like, all right, now all of our customers are complaining, they're requesting refunds through Shopify and all this stuff. The business kind of exploded, so we just couldn't do that anymore, and we had to wind that company down.
Hmm. That
Yeah.
was actually my internship. I was supposed to be so right before COVID, I landed an internship at a company in Providence. I was going to be a project manager for like the IT team. And then COVID hit, and then I got an email saying they canceled the internship program, but I already signed up in college for all the credits. So then we went in full time into that ecom, and that was when the Privacy Pro case came out, among many other products. But that was
Yeah.
uh
That was
that
our
was a
most
lot of fun.
successful one.
Hmm. I remember I'd go to your house and we go grind in the basement, just
Yeah, we set up
grind
the
out.
folding table,
Yep,
and
set up the folding table.
yeah, yeah, and then that I don't know, that crashed as fast as it went up. It went down even quicker.
Hmm.
So there was that, and then yeah, and then we pivoted. This was later in 2020, towards the end of 2020, I believe. We were trying to What were we trying to do? We were trying to figure out a way to make money in our sleep. It's kind of the
Yeah, we
essence
figured if we
of
could do it
how
with
I
phone
remember it.
cases, we could do it with something else. And I was messing around with some Python code around trading stocks, and I was like, oh, we could go it all in on this. We can make an algorithmic uh, stock trading bot that will just print money. And
Yep.
I bought like a book on algorithms. I started making the algorithms, and then we need to back test the data against different types of stock data. So we went and acquired a bunch of stock data and
Tried to
started,
build the
yeah,
algorithms.
trying
Yeah,
to build that
couldn't.
out. Yeah, there was nothing that ever stuck out. And
No,
then
we couldn't figure out a way to make money.
no, and then our friend was right, he had a volatility algorithm that he didn't automate it. He just kind of um just executed on his own. And then we applied it to the crypto market, or we tried to apply it to the crypto market because that was extremely volatile. And then we couldn't find a reliable data pipeline for all the crypto data. So then we kind of built our own, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the towards the end of 2020, the crypto markets are really taking off, and I remember, yeah, I remember like, okay, we couldn't figure out a way to make the algorithms work in the stock market. We just, I don't know, the back testing wasn't wasn't working. We didn't know what we were doing either, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, we had no idea what we were doing. So we're like, oh, we failed here. Let's go try in, I don't know, maybe the crypto market will be more generous. But it turns out it wasn't. And then what did we do from there? We needed, I guess the other problem was like we needed data to power the algorithms. That was a big problem for both
Yep.
in the stock market and the crypto market. And one of the great things about the crypto market is that to access the data was free. So like you have this solution to the problem, and then the market's taking off, which is like looking really attractive to us. So we're like, all right, maybe let's pivot into crypto, see what we could do. And we started building out that data pipeline to source data for algorithms. But we never got the algorithms to work, right?
We did a lot of paper trading.
Yeah.
Like we had like a couple scalping bots and then like some swing trading bots, but nothing ever was like guaranteeing like 10% returns or whatever. Nothing that we could take to like a hedge fund and be like, if we have an algorithm that gives 15% month over month, throw $1 billion at it and see what happens. That
Yeah.
none of that never happened. It's hard.
So we moved forward with building out the next thing we did was we continued working on the data pipeline, and we turned that into kind of like its own product, I guess you could say, where we turned it into an API product to try to sell the data. This took us down another big rabbit hole, right? At this point, the company was already founded. We officially founded the company towards I think it was in like September or October of 2020.
Yep.
And we were actively, for these several months, we were actively working on the initial several months, we were building these algorithms, these trading bots. Then into 2021, we started building out the data pipelines to try to sell the data. At this point, we're like, okay, we can't figure out a way to make money. Maybe someone will buy this data off of us. And I remember we had a very difficult time selling this data. No one wanted to
Hmm.
pay for it. No one wanted to buy it. I remember going into multiple pitches, like trying
It's
to
hard to
sell this.
market
Just
it
like,
too.
yeah, marketing the data was not easy. I remember trying to sell it like in these meetings, just cold emailing people, trying to see, oh, do you want this? Do you want this? It connects to 100 exchanges, all this stuff. No, 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 got nowhere. And then what was then? Oh yeah, the next pivot. The next pivot after this was like, okay, maybe we'll build some applications on top of the data, and then people will pay for those applications. Like we thought about doing alerts, right? We were doing
Hmm.
crypto alerts.
Yep.
No one
We're
bought
still
that.
generating trading signals too with some of our algorithms.
Yes, like whales. What else were we doing? Like liquidity.
Yeah, it was like the biggest winners of like the last
Yes,
day or something like that. The biggest losers,
large
whales. Kind of
trades.
remember like unusual whales for stocks. Are trying to like replicate that almost, but for crypto.
Yeah,
And then
that didn't
there was
work.
yeah, no, that did not work.
We tried to sell that. That didn't work. We tried to sell all these signals. Didn't work. We tried to build alerts and sell those. That didn't work. And this was like 2 years, right? This was 2 years, and in the background, you were working at like a few other companies too, and because we weren't making any money, right? We weren't
No.
making any money. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. But at so what was the big break? It was like 2023, I believe. We went to
Hmm.
ETH Boston. It was
Yeah, we
ETH
had an
Boston,
idea
right?
like the week before, the day before, or something like that. And then we're like, oh,
Yes,
let's just take this and just go talk to people with it about it at the
yes.
conference at East Boston.
What was that idea?
Uh, wow, it's been that long. I forgot the general like it was like really simple. It was like It was it was like a one sentence. What was it, Drew? What was it? Do you remember what it
The
was?
idea was, it was in essence of kind of what we're doing today. It was like getting people to, or like making it easier for people to accept payments in crypto. It was like kind of the general essence, like the on and off ramping space, right? Is that kind of fair to say? Or
Yeah, it was more simple than that though. It was like 6 or 7 words, and it was just,
yeah.
gosh, should have wrote them
So,
down.
anyways, we went to the conference with this idea of like making it easy for companies to accept crypto payments, or like moving money on and off chain. In essence,
Hmm.
like an early version of this site concept. And we the first person, not the first person, but one of the people that we talked to, or like one of the first people we pitched the idea to, was this guy named Gabriel, and he was like, "Oh, I could use this today. Like, how can I want to implement this tomorrow? How could we do this? Right? Isn't that right?"
Yep.
So this
He's
is
like,
like,
I want to. He's like, let me get your information. We're gonna implement this into our website next week, because it was like a Saturday or something.
yeah, and we had nothing, right? This was
Yeah, we had
literally
nothing,
just
just
an
the idea.
idea, and there was nothing behind it besides the data that we were trying to sell. Uh, so what did we do next? I'm blanking on what we. So then, like, oh yes. So then we were like, all right, there's something here for the
Hmm.
first time in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
There's
we've
something
been
here.
talking to so many people, and everyone just like,
They
and
weren't interested. They just
nothing.
waved
And
us
then
off.
like we
Yeah.
talked to someone about an idea, and their eyes light up, and we're like, wow, like
Hmm.
that feels great,
That's
right?
yeah. So we doubled down on this. This is into 2023. We went to a few more conferences that year too. I joined the Rhode Island Blockchain Council in Rhode Island to like connect with other local people, see what's going on there. We went to Boston Blockchain Week. I believe that was in 2024, right? Or was that in
I
23 as
think
well?
that was the end of 2023. Yeah,
End
that
of
was the
23.
end of 23.
Yeah, so between that first ETH Boston conference and Boston Blockchain Week, we started to build out a
ETH
rough idea.
ETH Boston was in April of 2023. Boston Blockchain Week was in September of 2023. Is it September, October, somewhere around there? So to give
Yes.
you an idea of the time frame.
And so in between that time, we were like building out building this payments on and off ramp product kind of, right? We were building the MVP.
I think we started out with like off ramping. Was that true?
Yeah, so we started off with the off ramp. That was the first thing we did, and the reason we did that because there's no fraud for off ramping. Once a customer sends us the crypto, they
Reverse
can't
it.
yeah, reverse it, or like claim a return fraud or something like this. So we started with that because we had no money. So we're like, okay, we start with the off ramp. And then, yeah, we were tinkering around building the MVP. We went to Boston Blockchain Week, and we wore black suits, and
Yes, we wore black suits.
we made an impression on the founders of Cubic Labs, Ian and John. And John told us that they were running a R&D program, research and development program, and they asked us to fill out the, what was it? It was like their
The form, the
application form.
application. We had, to give you some more context, we had no idea who anyone was at this conference. We just heard about it on LinkedIn or something,
LinkedIn
just
or
like a
X, yeah.
random, yeah, just a random post. We didn't know anyone behind it. We had no context going in. We're just like we had done 5 months prior. Oh, ETH Boston sounds cool. We're gonna go to that, and we
Yeah, we were
just,
interested in crypto, building in
yeah.
the space. We're like, all right, let's go. Maybe we'll meet some people.
So this was our second
Um,
conference that we'd ever been to, was Boston
yep.
Blockchain Week.
And we met the guys that were throwing the conference
And we
and
had
that
no
were putting
idea.
everything
Yeah, we're
together. We
just
didn't know
talking
who
to
they
them.
were either. Yeah. And so we left the next day. We're like, all right, let's fill out our application for the R&D program. Like, this is big. So we filled it out, right, with everything that we had. And then we started doing interviews with the Cubic Labs team.
Yep.
And I remember one of the big things that they asked for was like, okay, you guys need to have traction. Like, you don't have anything. You don't have any customer sales traction. Like, oh,
We had done like
right. Like,
30 grand of like test volume or something like that. Just like one off, just, hey, I have this, I need to sell it.
yes, yeah, we were doing transactions on the side for like our friends, our family, different
Hmm.
things like this, but we didn't have like a contract or anything.
No.
And that's where like so I this was like a big unlock too to get us into Cubic Labs, which was I was a part of the Rhode Island Blockchain Council, and through the Rhode Island Blockchain Council we met Vincent, who runs Cryptillion, and he has this like, how would you describe it? It's like a crypto debit card payment system where you
It's a,
load crypto.
yeah, it's a crypto payment system. You load crypto onto the card, and then you can go to any, like most merchants and it rings up as like a gift card or something, and you can just spend your crypto. So the merchants
Yes,
are holding the crypto at the end of the day. Then they need to off ramp that into USD to then, do their operations or whatever
definitely.
merchants
Yeah,
do.
and what Vincent found with Cryptillion was that these businesses, they're open to accepting payments in crypto, but they wanted it converted to cash
Yep.
because the crypto is very volatile, it goes up and down in price. They wanted it an off ramp, get it right into their bank account, batch the payments at the end of the day type of thing. So we're like, oh, Vincent, we have this off ramp. You could use this. And I remember I was like, dude, come on, we need your help here. Just sign this contract for us so we can get
Is it
into
LOI?
Cubic Labs. Yeah, sign the LOI. That's what it
Yeah.
was. Yes. And LOI's letter of intent. So he helped us out big time there. He signed the letter of intent, and we got into Cubic Labs. That got us a $25,000 non-dilutive grant,
Yep.
and that allowed us to build out the MVP of the product, like the actual user interface, dashboard, infrastructure behind the scenes stuff too.
The widget.
Yes. And that pushed us into 2024. We launched, and during this time too, we're like, all right, $25,000 isn't enough. We need a little bit more funding. You were still working full time at Mojo Tech,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Right,
we're like, all
Mojo
right,
Tech.
I needed your help. I needed you on the team full time. Like I couldn't do it all alone. So I was like, all right, we need to get more funded. And so I was actively applying to other investors and everything to reaching out to investors, just cold outreach, contacting. I don't know. I had a spreadsheet of like 1,000 different investors that I messaged, and I cold outreach to Boost VC. I went through their website form that they had set up there, and Boost VC started writing these smaller, I don't know, like really early pre-seed checks for about $50,000, and we pitched Adam Draper. We managed to secure a meeting with Adam Draper. That was big
That
through
was
through
like
their website.
before that was before we were accepted to Cubic and stuff too.
No, that was after. That was in
Oh,
early
that was
24. That
after.
was in like
Oh, okay.
May or April of 24. So I think we were accepted into Cubic Labs around the end of 2024. So like January, or sorry, around January or the end of 23, January, sometime in there. If I'm remembering correctly. And then Adam invested and Boost VC invested in like April or
Yep.
May-ish.
But that was because that was our second call with him. We had the first call with him where he gave us some advice. We
Yes.
asked him like what if what he would like to see or something like that, and then we had another call several months later.
Yeah,
It
that was the big thing. You're
yeah.
spot on. All right,
Yep.
now, yes. So at the time when we first pitched him, he told us no, right? We're
Mhm.
like, all right, but we have a relationship here. He told us no. And then we got into Cubic Labs. You're right. Then we got into Cubic Labs,
Yep.
and then they launched. Then Boost VC launched the 50K check, right?
Yep.
And we're like, oh, we should reapply for this. So we
Yep.
reapplied. We pitched him again, and then we took. Yeah, we did exactly what you said. Where we're like, oh yeah, we told Adam that we took his advice. We applied it. This is what we've seen. This is what we've done with it. And it's like, oh, we like this. So managed to secure an investment,
Hmm.
and that was really big for us.
That was huge. Then we're able.
And
Then
then,
I came on full time,
yep.
and
And
then the rest is.
well, we can keep going.
Oh
It's
yeah, we can
this
keep going.
end of December now. It's December 3rd, 2025, right? So we go to modern day. So like
All right, let's do it.
fast forward to like September of 2024. We
It was
went to
like
San
August. We went to
Francisco.
yeah, maybe it was September.
Yeah, August, September. We went to San Francisco for the first time. I think you're right. And then yeah, for this was for the Boost VC kind of what was it, like the accelerator that they
New
have
cohort.
quarterly?
Yeah, the new
Yeah,
cohort.
we were.
Like they invite all their new portfolio companies to like kind of like so all their portfolio companies are really early. They're really early on because they're deep tech, and they like to say that the first check in. So a lot of the times their founders that they invest in are very new, inexperienced. They need to, and they need to learn how to like raise capital, right? Like how do you talk to like investors, like pretty much. So we went, so they flew out us and all of these other companies. They put us in a classroom and they gave us kind of like a crash course on different skills that founders need to go and like raise money.
Yes,
Kind of
and prior to
that's
that,
there's a lot more than that, but
yeah,
go for
and
it.
prior to that, we launched the actual off ramp
Oh
interface.
yes.
I remember we did this, and Like the very next day after we launched it, I remember we got a customer to go through the KYC process and like the automated KYC process.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh yeah, this is big. I remember we were walking to their office, whatever. We really felt good about that. But yeah, no, Boost VC, the big focus of their cohorts was around like sales and like revenue and like actually growing the company. There was like several workshops in sales, which are pretty cool. And yeah, so we went to that. We kept building. Several months later, we launched the on ramp. That really took off. That's where our volume kind of started to explode. Stablecoins were growing as well this entire time in parallel to what we were doing. Granted, we weren't really super niche down and focused on stablecoins at the time, but we were actively opening accounts and building relationships with these exchanges and with
Hmm.
the stablecoin issuers. And yes, and then another big thing that happened too is, let's see, we launched our pro plan, which is a pretty big thing. Most people don't even know about our pro plan, but this is a big unlock for us volume wise, where we started to give away 100K a month in free USDC volume. And that kind of, we presented that to the right crypto startups and right blockchain startups. They took advantage of it. Our volume started to really pump for several months there.
We're
And
not giving it away. They they pre-bought like the volume for the allotted volume for a year, but at a big haircut.
Yeah, so today the Pro plan's priced for $695 a year, and then with that we give away 100K a month in free transaction volume in USDC, as well as reduced rates for other stablecoins and other cryptocurrencies. And yeah, that helped us helped our volume increase, and off of that kind of like our main KPI, which is transaction volume, took off. That helped us raise additional capital, and now we are here today working on scaling this up, building out more features, supporting more cryptocurrencies, supporting more payment methods, automating a lot of good stuff, and
Better
acquiring more
UX.
customers,
Yep.
better UI, UX, all this stuff as well. And that's kind of where we're at today.
Wow,
So
that's a good origin story. Well,
yeah,
no,
that
well,
was a
I'm a
gist.
little biased, but that was a good synopsis.
Yeah, I think one of the questions that Lauren has here too is like, where are we going in the next 6 to 12 months? I don't like, we talked about how we got to where we are today. So where do you think we're headed, Zach?
Where do I think we're headed, huh? Well, definitely.
You don't give anything away, Zach. Don't give anything away.
All right. I won't give anything away, but I think I think we're gonna. All right, I'll let you start. I'll let you start on this.
You
I
want
don't
me to
want to
answer the
give
question? All right.
anything away.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, stablecoins are huge for us, right? So, like, that's where the vast majority of our volume is. So, we're doubling down on stablecoins. We're working on adding more currencies, stablecoin currencies, adding more blockchains, more fiat currencies, adding more payment methods, um,
We're adding some
providing
incentives for new users and existing users.
yes, trying to make our products easier to use, more attractive.
Hmm.
Long term, we definitely think that, or at least I think that stablecoins are going to continue to grow in transaction volume, and more businesses, especially companies that are working like internationally, sending money overseas, working with international employees, are going to find a great use case for what we're doing. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for these businesses that are not necessarily crypto native to get started. So you could take that wherever you'd like, but that's something that we're working on right now. Today, we're very focused on the blockchain, crypto startup, small to medium sized businesses, people that already have wallets, they understand crypto, they understand blockchains. So we're trying to make it easier for people outside of this niche of users that don't the people that don't understand crypto or blockchain to get started.
Yeah, trying to expand our target niche, target demographic, if you would. Yeah, that's very important.
Okay, so other things that we are working on is ACH on ramps. This has been a big request from virtually every customer inside of the United States. They want the ability to pay for their or fund their transactions via ACH, like where you pull money directly from their bank account via ACH, similar to like using Plaid or something like this. Um, ACH is a very difficult. Well, it's not as difficult as credit cards, but it is a more difficult payment method than wires for us.
This is really old too. Oh, but it's old. The system's like really old, but also because the transactions are reversible. That's the
Yes.
big one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's good for now. I guess we have more coming soon, more exciting stuff. Can't give away the super exciting stuff.
No, we can't give away the good stuff.
What do you think about competitors getting acquired?
I think it's a bullish sign. It shows that we're in the right place. We're building in the right area. Previously, we're in crypto data and only doing that, and we had
Yeah,
competitors over there. And I think I want to say 4 out of every 5 competitors is now not in business. That's a
they're dead. Yeah.
yeah. Versus versus where we are now, 4 out of every 5 competitors getting acquired.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. This ties into like this bigger point that I learned about when reading Charlie Munger's book, Poor Charlie's Almanac. He describes this concept in business where you have these different industries, where you like in some industries, like for example, in our industry, like crypto exchanges perform incredibly well. They make a lot of money, right? And you can have the top 10, 12, 20 businesses can all be extremely profitable, making millions of dollars. Um, and that's like one example. And there's various other examples of this too in just, I don't know, like the cereal business, for example. I don't know, the grocery stores and stuff is maybe another example. And then you
Maybe
have
like
other businesses. Do you have one?
Chipotle, yeah, slot bowls,
Yeah, the
Chipotle,
restaurants.
Kava,
Yeah, Cava. Yeah,
yeah.
just salad.
Hmm.
Yes, that's another good one too. And then you have these other like really cutthroat businesses where the margins get eroded and you only have 1 to 2 big players. So in our crypto industry space, right? I would say a good example of this is decentralized exchanges. Really you only have like a few, like 2 or 3 big name decentralized exchanges that are making a lot of money. And versus like the if you're not in that top 12 companies or whatever, you're not making anything basically.
Hmm.
Um, and the margins erode pretty quickly. Another example of this in the crypto space is like digital wallets. You have a lot of digital wallets that are all competing for this similar user base, but not most of them aren't making any money. I know a lot of other founders and business owners that I don't even understand this concept. I don't think like that where you're operating matters. If you this is only something I've learned in the last few years too. If you're operating in a space where your margins are getting eroded by your competitors, and you can't compete, it's like you should pivot into another space where a lot of businesses can all make money and earn together.
How
I
big
don't
is
know.
the pie? Is the pie big enough for you? Can you grow into, can you eat enough of the pie to prosper?
Yeah, like tech is an example of this. Big tech. I don't know. A lot of there's a lot of big tech companies making a lot of money. E-commerce is another example too. I don't know. You could pull that apart though across the board and niche it down. But the automotive industry, maybe there's only like several big automotive companies.
Mm.
So, um, all right. What else do we have on the docket that we want to talk about here?
We have other ways, so that one of them's like, what is the cheapest reliable way to pay a vendor in 24 hours?
What currency are we starting with?
Let's go with any currency.
All right. So I guess it depends on where the starting currency, where you're located, and the ending currency that the vendor wants, and where the vendor is located. Um, you gotta set me up here.
All right. The company's paying a vendor. The company's located in the United States. The vendor's located in Germany.
Okay, it's a good example. What is the fastest way to do this? I mean, you could
Yep.
do it. You could do it by. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't send an international wire. I would not do that. I'd
No.
probably recommend using stablecoins, using
Yeah.
USDC, EURC. What do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, in this case, you could use us, right? The company in America, they open an account with us. They send us a wire for the amount. We would send the USDC, EURC right to their wallet. They could send it to the company in Germany. The company in Germany could then do whatever they would like with the payment.
Hmm.
But stablecoins are significantly faster. I think international wires take 3 to 5 business days, and there's
Absolutely.
several fees in the way. The other way to do it too is through Wise. So if you don't want to work directly with the bank, you could do it with Wise. Wise is similar, but I don't know if they would clear the transaction in 24 hours.
What about for a company? The company's in the United States, but their employees are in the United States. Is the United States dollar still the best way to transact?
Probably, yeah. In that case, I would just send an ACH payment. You could do
Yeah.
same day ACH. That's the fastest and cheapest way to transact in the United States, unless if your employee wants crypto, which makes it a different situation. But
Yeah.
I would say most people today don't want to get paid in crypto, which is understandable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Same day ACH has been real nice, especially. domestically in the United States.
You could do RPT too, which stands for real-time payments, but I don't know if all banks. I don't think all banks support RTP quite yet.
Oh,
It's still
I don't.
being like rolled out.
Innovation on the banking side is a little slow.
Yeah, we're talking in terms of decades, not days.
Most of the banking system's still written in COBOL.
This is true.
What is our personal rubric for choosing between USDC on Ethereum or an L1 and L2 or USDT and Tron or on Tron?
Uh, that's a good question. I mean, you go first. What is your opinion?
So my personal rubric is, does the end person want USDC? If they do, I will almost always use USDC because we can mint and burn USDC for free, you know, personally, and as with the company, we have those means. So it is cheaper. Me as an individual, I will still
Yeah,
use USDC because I will use Adesic to, or I don't know, any other means. I feel like for me to acquire USDC versus USDT, there is less of a spread. And I think
yes,
that
so
is
it's cheaper.
because, yeah, so we can take a step back. Like why is one stable coin cheaper than the other? And I know how to answer this because we tried to get relationships with the issuer of USDT as a US company, and we were unable to, right? They required us to have an offshore entity, and you know that, and then you can't acquire any size, like any size of USDT. It's hard set at certain clips. I think the minimum is like 250K, but we're
It's about
versus with
100K.
it's 100K.
100K
All right.
clip size for USDT Tether, yeah.
Yeah. So they sell in bulk. So that I think that's why we see it is generally more expensive to acquire USDT as a US citizen, US based company. Me personally, US citizen. So
Yeah, but what blockchain are you going to use? That's the real question.
I am probably gonna use Solana.
And why are you
I
going to use Solana? This is a good question.
I like how it's just cheap and fast. That's what it boils down to. You could say, Zach, there are other cheap and fast blockchains. Sure, I just choose
But
whatever is cheap
Solana
and
has won
fastest.
you over, right? Solana has won you over, and I want to know how they won you over.
I
How
don't
did
think they
Solana
won me
win you
over.
over?
Oh,
Well, you
as
use them. You use them more consistently compared to these other LT chains like Polygon or Avalanche or something like
well, it's
this.
like where is it gonna go, right? So if another, so I guess this goes back into my rubric. Is choosing between these chains is the next is the user experience, right? So I like to use Phantom Wallet, and Phantom Wallet integrates in with Solana, so I can send USDC on Solana to my Phantom Wallet to then go and do whatever.
Hmm.
And the gas is relatively cheap. I would like a gas pump, but I don't think those wallets have that. So I do have to occasionally acquire Solana to fuel up my wallet, but
Yeah,
um,
that's a whole other problem to talk about is
yeah.
the wallet issue and the existing wallets. Um, no,
What
that's
about you, Drew?
interesting. Yeah, I agree with you. I would definitely go for USDC over USDT just because it's easier to access and it's cheaper. I mean, the way I would go about accessing USDC personally would either be through us or like Coinbase or something like this. And both with us and Coinbase, I don't have any fees when buying or selling USDC, and it's one to one. Where versus with USDT, um, it's not one to one. There's a variable spread, so it's like I'd be losing a little bit of money, but the fees are relatively small. But USDC is just more stable. When it comes to the actual blockchain, I think that's a good question, right? Because what a lot of people don't know about some of these chains is like how they actually work, if they're actually decentralized or not. Is like there was like a new study, I think it was done by Binance or maybe someone else, who like found that there's several of these blockchains can just like I'm blanking on what it was, but they weren't as decentralized as they were thought to be. I think Binance Smart Chain was one of them, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that because they're all run from the same data center, like most of the nodes? Is that what you're referencing, or is it like
No, there was something in the code. There
oh,
was something in the
oh, right,
code
there's a
that
kill
could be
switch, or there's
enabled.
like
Yes,
you can freeze funds. Yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that exists, right? And I'll say this too with stablecoins. Stablecoins can be frozen. USDT in your wallet can be frozen. USDC in your wallet can be frozen. But it's a Circle or Tether can, if you commit a crime and get reported to the authorities, Tether or USDC or Circle will come in and freeze your wallet address if they have it. So there's that as well. Most people don't know that. But back to the actual blockchain issue, yeah, several of these blockchains are not as decentralized as they seem to be, which I think is incredibly interesting. So primarily, if I'm moving like very large amounts of money, I would go with Ethereum. Just because Ethereum is one of the most decentralized networks, the most popular network. It also has some of the deepest liquidity. If I'm moving smaller amounts of money, I am more of like an Avalanche guy. I don't know why. I like AVAX. Solana's a close second. Polygon's up there too. I've used both of those as well.
I've used those too, yeah.
But what's interesting, and the other point that I wanted to make is the amount of confirmations that it takes. So, like, most people don't know this either with blockchains. When I go to send money, like if I want to send money from my wallet to Zach's wallet, several confirmations have to take place on chain. So several blocks have to be created before the money is finalized in Zach's wallet and he can actually like move it or like send it somewhere else. So for Ethereum, most cases, even with exchanges, I think it's like 16 blocks or something like this on Ethereum.
Something like that.
Versus with Solana, it's about like one block. Same with AVAX, it's about one block. What's interesting too with Base, most people don't know this about Base, but I think it's like 32 or 16 to 32 network confirmations before you can withdraw money. So like your money's like in limbo for like 16 minutes or whatever. You can't move the money until it gets confirmed.
Yeah, we see that with deposits on the Adesic platform too. We have to wait several blocks to then, confirm that there was no issues. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, that there was no like slashing or whatever. And other chains as well, I've learned. I'm blanking on the actual chains, but like this, one of the reasons that Stripe and Circle are making, like Stripe's making the Tempo blockchain, Circle's making the Arc blockchain, is because some of these blockchains, their transactions can be reversed. So I think it's like Optimism, maybe it's Optimism, where they're like, if fraud occurs and there's a transaction reversal, it can take up to 7 days to reverse the transaction or something. There's like some
by
kind of
design?
fraud mechanism. By design, intentionally by design, something to do with these zero knowledge proofs. I'm blanking on the exact chain name, but I do know that's another function as well. I was talking with a friend of mine about this, how, I don't know, there's like these other stuff going into this that most people don't know about this, because it like really gets down to the nitty-gritty details of the code and how they actually operate. So that's why these chains, like this is why Stripe and Circle are making these stablecoin specific blockchains. So there is less fraud. The transactions are finalized. And I don't know, you have trusted parties that you're transacting with, but at that point, then becomes an argument of like decentralization versus centralization. We just lost Zach here, but for me, I'm going with Zach's back. For me to wrap up the question, I'm going with Ethereum and then AVAX, followed by like probably Solana or Polygon.
Very nice. Going back to that centralized aspect where the entity behind the blockchain can freeze transactions or reverse them. I find that to be very interesting. There was a startup that I was talking to at Blockchain Futurists who that was their main selling point, was like, yeah, we can freeze funds and because we can do this and reverse transactions, our blockchain's fully insured, which got me thinking, but I don't, not too much, not too deeply about it, but I just thought that was interesting how the main selling point for crypto, how, there's no control, code is law versus, yes, I'm blockchain, but also I am law. My company's law, we can control everything is, I don't know. I couldn't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you might as well have like a bank ledger or just a database. Like, what is the point of making a
It's like,
blockchain?
what's the point of a blockchain? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right, cool. What other questions we got?
Where do most costs hide? Network versus conversions versus banking. I think that's just an open-ended question. So I think this. There's two ways to answer this. This is as from like a company perspective, like where do our costs hide, or versus a transaction, where do the costs hide?
Yeah. I guess I'll start off from the perspective of the user. I think for users don't have much costs, right? To be honest with you, I would say that the cost crypto transactions are significantly cheaper than credit cards or like many other transactions. I would say they're on par with like standard cash transactions, like I hand you a dollar bill type of thing. So there isn't much cost there at all.
There, there is one cost though, which is user error. That might be a
That's a good
yeah,
point. You want to
yeah.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, we've seen that before. So user error, you send, so you're supposed to do a transaction to wallet address 0x123. You mess up and you accidentally send the transaction to 0x124.
Yeah, sending
You
money
can't
to the
reverse
wrong
that.
address.
It's gone. Yeah. We've seen that happen with a large transaction a time or two, and it's very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
it's even happened to me personally, right?
Yeah.
So it's yeah, but so if you send money to the wrong address, it's gone. That's probably the big and hidden cost. That's a good point, Zach.
Yeah,
Out
that's my that's mine. That's my
That's
little
good.
tidbit on that.
Outside of that, there's like node costs, which are like the percentage-based transaction fee in some cases. I think that's probably it, right? There's the gas fee,
There,
which is very small.
yeah. It depending on which exchange you use, there's a spread too, which might just be a few basis points, but
Yeah. As for like us on the business side, I mean, our biggest costs are around let's geez,
compliance.
compliance and salary and licensing costs. All of that stuff adds up
Yeah,
very
licensing. Yeah.
quickly. Working with banking partners, which is even the compliance stuff too. I mean,
Hmm.
all this is like, I don't know. I think it's boring for the average person, but for us, this is kind of like
We
what
have to
keeps
take
us
it
up
very
at night.
seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You don't want
I don't
any
know.
you don't want to wake up to some emails for that North Koreans had onboarded and done some transactions.
Yeah, so a lot of our costs go towards compliance, licensing, banking relationships, all that good stuff, and then employing the team as well.
When does OTC beat exchanges, and what should an all-in quote include?
It's a good question. I think maybe it on the transaction sizes. So when you're approaching transaction sizes that are greater than $50,000 or greater than $100,000, OTC desks tend to provide better rates than exchanges because most OTC desks like ours do not charge a percentage-based transaction fee,
Hmm.
and it's all white glove, one-to-one working, directly with our team.
Yeah, with an OTC desk, you're not going to be waiting hours for your order to fill while each part of your order that does fill moves the market against the direction that you want to fill at. That's a
Yes.
yeah, that's a good point too, I think.
When moving large amounts of money and you're doing it yourself through an exchange, um, you can move the market, and it's even on stablecoins like USDT, you can move the market. I granted it's fractions of a penny, but
But it
you're
adds up
still,
on large orders.
yeah, with large orders, it adds up quick. And yeah, there's that. This is the first Adesic podcast. How do you think it went, Zach?
But anyway,
Oh, we lost
oh,
Zach here. This is insane. He dropped twice. For the next podcast, we're gonna work on getting Zach better internet. Oh, he's back. Let's go.
I my internet says I'm fine on my end. I
Can
don't
we get
know if
some
it's
W's in the chat? Maybe it's me dropping. I don't know. Let's get some
might
W's in the
be
chat for Zach.
might be cross pond connection issues.
That's possible. I'm
Uh,
currently in Germany at the time. Where are you at the moment, Zach?
I'm out of Florida at the time.
The beautiful state of Florida.
Sunshine State.
Um, yeah, that's the first Adesic podcast. I don't know. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
See you soon.
See you soon.